Hey everybody, welcome back to Freedom Algo. Hope you're all having a great day. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Gonna give it a second for everybody to hop in. All right. Letting everybody know that I'm live. All right, cool. All right, let me know in the chat. How is your Monday? Kind of a funny day today, the way that the price action has developed. It's not the easiest day to trade. The way that things set up. I mean, it's not the hardest either, of course. Like, it's not. It's just kind of mediocre. And the reason I say that is that even though there's a decent amount of movement, there's not a lot of bars. This is one of those days where if you measure the amount of bars that we have, it's really not very many. There's only 206, and it's already been quite a bit of time. If you look from the overnight, where did we open today? It was like right up in this move, I think. I think that's the first candle of the day right there. Whoops, come on. So let me look. So basically, call it 140 bars or so since the open. Just not a lot of bars. Hey, good to see you, Sean. Good to see you, Jarvis. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So that's just what it is. You know, you're going to get days like this where... And the other problem is I'm going to put an arrow here. Put a little arrow pointing at this candle. Because I want to talk about this when we get there. Let me see. Okay, I want to talk about that spot. I want to make sure I also talk about this spot. There was another one too. I think there was another one that I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm going to talk about this one right here. And then... Is that the one? Yeah, I think that's the one. And then... Oh, yeah. That's another one. We'll talk about... I'm just going to draw some arrows because there's a few spots of the chart that I thought would be important to just discuss. All right. Because we have a lot of almost setups today. Haha, Sean. Sean jinxed the market on us. How you gonna jinx the market on us? Come on. Everybody smash up the likes. All right, give me 1 second. By the way, I'm testing out that new functionality today with the ads where it won't do ads unless I click the button. So I might ask everybody a few times just like how it goes. So you know what? With that being said, let me test one right now. I'm gonna stop talking for a second. I'm gonna click the add button, and then I'm gonna wait and see what everyone, you know, if it works for everyone. I'm hoping that it just gives you like a skippable. So give me 1 second. All right. Did that work? I did the ad thing. Did it give everybody that doesn't have YouTube Premium an ad? Just curious. Oh, it shows you one at the start. Okay, gotcha. Maybe you deleted it, so maybe it did show you one. Okay, cool. So it works. So I'm gonna try to basically only let those things happen if I'm like walking away or something. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Hey, Lance, good to see you. It's been a while, man. Enzo, good to see you. Lance, I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, over 6,000 now. 6,026 subscribers. The target goals for today are 6,033. We get to 6,033 subscribers. That's one target. And our like target is going to be 40 likes. So, there we go. Jarvis, no ad. Okay, yeah, it might be because, like what Sean was saying, sometimes it shows it to people right in the beginning. So, I'm going to try to only really activate those if I need to, like, get up or whatever, you know. So, I'll get into the chart here in a second. Let me just get some incense going. It's Monday. I like to get some incense going. Get the vibes right in the office. I really got to order my other ones again. These ones are still good, but this is the, if anybody uses incense at all, this is the, what's this company? Sea Witch Botanicals. Company's called Sea Witch Botanicals. They got pretty good stuff. Alright. Alright, so let's get into it. So this morning, looking at the chart, there was a gap, right? So this is where the chart closed on Friday. And then it opened higher. So there's a gap on the chart. That's what this line is. This is Friday's close. So it gapped up into the overnight and then moved higher. We kind of had this flat channel here. And basically, there's like some tighter channels in there. Nothing really to write home about. All-time high is this pink line up here at 6,800. So that was the all-time high. So, or magenta, whatever, you know. Someone's going to correct me. So anyway, it came up. There's actually a second entry long there. Not a good signal bar, but it's there. Thing went higher. And then, basically, it hit up here. Came down. We had this move up. This was, I think when I got in this morning, it was like during this down move right here. I think I got in like on this bar right here, maybe. And so I drew this little down channel. And there's actually a first entry here. Here, let me zoom in real quick. This is kind of confusing, but I had this channel drawn. And basically, you get this close outside new low. And then you get a higher low. I actually wanted to take a trade right here. But the candle didn't finish bullish. It finished as a doji. So I couldn't take it because I was going to read this as a first entry, second entry long that's also a higher low. But it ended up not playing out that way. It's also like a triple test with a higher low. So I really liked this spot. But it ended up forming a doji. So I couldn't take the trade. But then afterwards, there's a first entry, second entry short that fails. I thought it was too risky. I really considered taking this trade. I really did. The reason I didn't like it at the time was because at the time when it formed, this is what your chart would have looked like right here. Let me shrink this trend line. This is what your chart would have looked like. It would have looked like this. And so the problem is you would have had this drawn like real tight like that. And you're basically longing the top of the tight channel. So you don't know for sure that it's going to break higher and give you a wider channel that looks more like this there. So you're taking a risk longing at the top of that tight channel like that. It ended up working, but I just think it's risky to do that without having any sort of confirmation that it's going to have this much space at the highs there. Now, of course, it ends up working, so I did mark it, but it's not, you know, it's not ideal. And I figure I don't want to take my first trade of the day, something less than ideal, a few minutes before the open. Might as well wait for something better. There is a triple test right here. I don't like it though, because these are all equal lows. And like, I don't know, it is a bounce there. You probably are expecting it, but it's only a first entry. You don't have a second leg here. So I just don't think that you want to take this. I just think it's too risky. I think you need like a higher low or like an equal low or something. And you just don't get one. Like these, the higher lows here, that's not good. This one is not good because it's not a good signal bar. Now, you wouldn't have really had a downtrend yet, right here. You would have just looked at this like, okay, close outside of this up channel, we might get a move to a new high. the down channels have kind of played out there. And it was looking like this was going to be a range, possibly. Like we had these lows, we kept bouncing. This could have been a failed breakout. So I marked this here, this arrow to point this out. So you get this close outside. Now you come up, you get an equal low here, which can be treated like a higher low. This looks like a failed breakout with a higher low to get back inside the range. So the thing is, it's reasonable to want a long one tick above this bar, but it doesn't trigger. And it almost did. I thought that this bar was going to come up and trigger a trade and just run this thing all the way to the highs. That's what I thought was going to happen here. And if you did, it's still a yellow arrow because this didn't technically break lower. These are equal lows, so you can treat it like a higher low. I like it better if this actually breaks lower and traps a bunch of shorts and then runs up, because that gives you a little bit more confidence. But when it does this here, you don't know that there's shorts trapped there because, yes, this looks like shorts might be getting trapped, but it didn't break below that. You want it to break below, give you that one tick lower, reverse, and trap all the people who shorted right there. But it didn't really happen that way. So anyway, I just wanted to call that out. But you can see this is why stop orders are so good, because you don't end up getting a trade there. You end up having to cancel it. So you stay out of a possible losing trade there. Now, when it went lower there, then you have to start going, okay, there's some sort of bearish channel here of some sort. So I originally had one drawn from this high, and then I drew one from this high as a possibility. Give me a second, gotta sip some tea real quick. Alright. Got my green tea going here. Let me know in the chat, what are you drinking this morning? I got my green tea. That's my go-to. In the giant, everyone, this mug is going to be famous. This is my bowl mug. I call it the bowl mug. It's like the size of a bowl. Alright. Fun fact, that mug was in my house when I moved in, and it's my favorite mug. Alright, so anyway, you gotta love that when you find a treasure in a house that you move into. Alright, so then this cruises down. Now, when this came down here, you see these lower highs. Now, they're all pretty tempting. There's some really nice bars in there, but you can't short those, even though they're tempting. Right? There's not any real setup here. Like there's just first entry, first entry, first entry. Now, after this one, this is where you get a bummer of a setup, because this is coming up. You kind of get this close outside new high, and this creates a first entry short. So it's a first entry short, and then it comes up and makes this big bar. So below this is a second entry short. Unfortunately, it gives you an inside bar. So this bar is inside this one. So yes, it is a second entry below this, but on an inside bar, it's too risky to take it. It's really unfortunate because I wanted to take a short here, but I would have needed this high to at least match this high for me to like it. Really, ideally, you want it to tick one tick higher and be the swing high of the move, but it just didn't happen. So that's what it is. Unfortunately, you don't get the second entry short there. You can't take an inside bar unless you want to be really risky. So when it triggers there, what you really want is at least a lower high, but it doesn't happen. It ends up just going, making this low. Another first entry on an inside bar there. It just keeps going lower. Now, I marked this here because this is a new high. So you actually have a first entry, second entry long that fails right there. And makes a new low. And then there's another first entry here. The reason I put this on here is because it's tempting to look at this like a second entry short. Now, technically, it's not, because this is a low and it's a first entry, and now this is a new low, first entry. Sometimes when you get two legs back to the EMA like that, you can look at it like a two-legged correction. Basically, what you're doing there is you're kind of looking at it like a two-legged correction like that. It's technically like a little bit different than a two-legged correction, but there is some reasoning to like a short there with such a bearish bar. I think it's risky overall, though. I mean, you do have space to these lows. You're thinking we're probably going to come down to these lows and at least probably come down and test that close down here. We have both of those targets. So if you took one there, it's way more advanced. It's definitely not ideal. I will mark this one with a yellow arrow. I didn't take this. I did not take this. But you could call this kind of like two legs back to the EMA. It's kind of like a second entry, but it's not really a second entry. So, you know, there's some reasons to like that in a downtrend like this. And this didn't touch the channel, but it got really close. So I think that you could say like, hey, we're really coming off this midline a lot. We got room to the lows of the channel. We're probably going to come down. So I think there's some reasons to like that. If you want to take some risk, that would be a spot where I think it's reasonable. You come down, you do make a first entry short, second entry short, but this is the signal bar, so it's not good. But then you get a lower high. Now, you don't have a new high on this little up channel, but that doesn't matter because we're in a downtrend, and this is basically rejection of the 21 EMA. You can see here, we rejected the EMA here. We basically tried to close above it, but then failed. And then we get a lower high right off the 21 EMA. We just bounced off these lows, but we got room to this low down, this close that we're looking for. So I just think this is a reasonable one. Now, I tried to get a runner here. This is the only trade I took. This lower high after the second entry short. And here, look. Let me see, actually. I think I took a screenshot of it, right? Where is this? Yeah, here it is. So I tried to get a runner there, you can see. So I took this screenshot. I still had 2 contracts on as a runner, and I was going for like a couple ticks above the Friday close, but it ended up coming back and stopping out my runner. So unfortunately, no runner there, but that's okay. It's going to happen sometimes. So it ended up going down and came back and stopped out the runner. So no big deal. Still a good trade. Could have gotten a little bit more out of it if I would have moved my target, but you can't do that because it would have just... See, here, I'll show you. You see, this is where it stopped me out on the runner. Like, if I would have tried to move down, it wouldn't have really done anything. Like, it wasn't really... Didn't really work out like that. So anyway, it comes up and closes outside of this channel, and then it forms this kind of wider channel that we seem to be in right now. And now, in this one... Unfortunately, there's not really any good setups. There's a first entry, second entry short. Now, I said that this was probably going to fail, but it's not a trade that you would take. I was saying, hey, I'm worried about failures here. I told the community that in advance because I think some people were probably going to look to take a second entry short right here, but I knew that that was a trap. So I told people, hey, I'm concerned about failures here. So at least the people in the paid community knew not to take a short here. So if anybody took a second entry short here, you got trapped, and you can tell there's an up channel here. And you just can't take that. It's too high up above the EMA. There's no close outside new high or anything. It's just not worth it. Too bullish. Just came off of these kind of range low areas. So anyway, it then keeps on making higher highs and higher lows. So there's no real setups in here. There's no real second entries. Let me see. So then it comes up. There's a little micro channel that I drew there. It closes outside here. It does give you this one where you have a move down. This is just a first entry long. Second entry would be above this bar, but you get an inside bar, and there's no signal bar there. Now, this one is reasonable. Basically, you had this level earlier. This is also the midline of a range. So there is a triple test there. I looked at this as a second entry short because now you have a new low here, and you actually have a first entry, second entry short, and this is higher than this high. So this little spike and channel pattern had basically played out, in my opinion. And so if you took a short there, it's reasonable. It's not the best bar, but it's reasonable. I didn't take it. I wanted something more ideal. I would rather have had like a lower high there, something to confirm. Just didn't really get set up for one. It's definitely risky because then it comes down and bounces. Now when it bounces here, now you have to be worried about, hey, I think there might be a wider pattern because you have this low, this low, this low. These are it keeps making higher lows. This low is equal to this one. And you basically end up with this move here. Kind of creates like a hidden second entry there. And this is also a first entry, second entry short. And this is almost like a failed second entry short in a way. I don't think you want to take that right into the high, but you can kind of see it. And then it comes up. Now when you make this new high, now you go, okay, we got a wider pattern. So you actually get a first entry, second entry long right here, but you can't take the long because you don't have enough room. You have 2 ticks to the high. Now, technically it would have worked, but it's dangerous. The higher low makes a new high, so you can't take that either. So just not really any good setups in there. I just wanted to mark out like they're close, but not quite there. Now we're bouncing off the channel. We're going higher, and it looks like we're going to the highs of the range. So now we do have room. We have the highs of the range up there. Here. Let's mark the high of the day, high of the overnight, which is right there. That's the high of the overnight. This blue line. So what I'm looking for here, if we come down and make a two-legged correction off of like the channel, that might be a nice little second entry long opportunity to have some space to the highs. But if it comes up and bounce and rejects off the level, then it becomes risky. So you got to be patient. All right, so that's actually an interesting point. By the way, everybody, please smash up the likes and definitely subscribe to the channel. Goal of the day is 40 likes, 6,033 subscribers. Those are the two goals for a celebration today. Kid Poker 007, pretty cool name. So, anyway, here's the thing. You're talking about the NQ. Here, if you're trading the NQ, all right. Let me back up for a second. First of all, why do you think the stop on the ES is tight? I don't understand. So how big of a target are you going for? How big of a target are you going for on your scalps when you trade the ES? How big of a target are you going for on your scalps when you trade the NQ? Let me know. And where are you placing your stop loss on the ES and the NQ? Let me know, because that'll help me answer this a little bit better. Because I actually think that the ES is a lot easier to trade than the NQ. Because the NQ... okay. So, Kid Poker, this is where you're making the mistake. Okay, so... I appreciate that comment. So, here's the thing. The Pat's manual was written a very long time ago, right? It was written a very, very long time ago. And at the time, the market was different, right? Here, let me show you. Can I show you this? How could I show you this? I don't know if I could actually show it. I'd have to go back and pull like very old historical data. But you can do that. You can go pull a 2000 tick chart. Go pull up a 2000 tick chart from like 2011, right? Really long time ago, 14 years ago. Go pull one up. And what you're going to find is that the bars were really small. Like you see this 5 tick bar right here, this little bar. This is like what a lot of the bars looked like back then. They were all super small. And then there's like the 8 tick stop. Well, here's the thing. In the manual, they talk about the 8 tick stop. You don't actually, that rule doesn't exist anymore. The way that you enter a trade is your stop loss always goes, if you're going short, your stop loss always goes 1 tick above the bar. And if you're going long, it goes 1 tick below. So here's an example. This trade right here was an 11 tick bar. So I entered this trade 1 tick below the bar, right? So I entered the trade right here. Whoops. Here, let me actually just, here, I'll just draw it. Let me draw it out. Where's the risk reward? Risk reward. Okay. This is what my trade looked like. This isn't what my actual target was, but this is how my stop loss was. So my entry was here. My stop loss was here. So I had a 13 tick stop loss on this trade, not 8 tick. 13 tick. 1 tick above the bar, because I was going short, is where the stop loss goes. When the manual was originally written... Yeah, Sean, for real. Well, I'm just saying that is a really long time in the market. The market has changed so much. Here, let me show you. Let me show you. This is an example. I'm going to pull up the ES real quick, just to show this. What? Get out of here. You're trying to show me an ad. Get out of here. Let's zoom way, way out. I'm going to go way back. Right? I'm going to go way back to 2011. I just want to show this because this will help illustrate the problem. So let's go to October 2011. So let's actually go to this, whatever today is, October 6th. I don't know what day of the week that is. So October, that would be a Thursday. Okay, so here's that day on the ES, right? Back then the ES was at 1500 something. So the high that day is 1613. The low is 1582. Okay, so there's like 30 points between the high and the low, basically. A little more than 30 points. Is that what that is? So it's like, that's like such a small amount, right? I mean, I think if you... Here, let's do this. It's, yeah, 31.5 points, okay? That's how much space there is between the high and the low. A volatile day back then, a volatile day was like a day like this one, where you actually have 98 points between the low and the high. That was like a huge day right there. That's a huge volatile day, okay? All right, now let's go to the present. Now we'll go to the present. And this is just looking at a daily chart. So, all right. So let's pull a small day. Here's a small day where there was 40 points between the high and the low. Okay? Here's a more normal day. 89 points. These aren't even big days. These are just normal, like, these are little days, right? Let's pull one of these bigger looking bars. Okay, here's a bigger looking bar. This one has 122, but you can see it's way more common for the days to have a lot larger bars. And this is a tight channel where the volatility is a little lower in a tight channel like this. So that's the thing. Like, I mean, look at some of these days back here. Some of these days back here, you know, you've got 240 points between the high and the low in a single day. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that the volatility has changed. There's a lot more people trading. The 2000 tick bars print a lot faster than they used to. So the 8 tick thing was created back when the ATR, you see this ATR, was generally below a 2 almost all the time. The ATR used to be really low. And so the idea back then was that you were trading with a 4 tick take profit and no bigger than an 8 tick stop. Well, that's not the case anymore. So now what I do is I go for a bigger take profit when the ATR gets higher, because my stop loss is almost always bigger than 8 ticks. So I hope that makes sense. The 8 tick rule doesn't exist anymore. The rule is you enter your trade and you put your stop loss 1 tick below the bar, that you're at this 1 tick below the bar. So like, let's say you're going long on this bar, stop loss goes 1 tick below, you're entering 1 tick above, and then your take profit, and then you move your stop, you know, all that. That's how you play it. You don't worry about the 8 tick thing. Same with NQ. If you're trading NQ, it's like your stop loss goes below the bar or above the bar. So actually on NQ, you're going to end up with a major stop losses. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's why I created what I did, right? Like, that's why I created Freedom Algo and the way that I teach it, because it's different. I don't have like it's more modern. It's a more modern take of what the market looks like. And I just cover, I don't have the rules the same way. So my rules are a little different. I don't go for 4 ticks. And I have this whole course in here, by the way. So the whole course is in here. You can see this. I also have weekly calls. They get recorded and put in here. This is an extra course that you get access to for extra calls when you've been in the group for longer. But there's a full course in here. Everything is in here. And then I go over the charts throughout the session, and I'm posting these so that you can see how I'm looking at things. You also get access to all the tools. Everything is in here. It's $99 a month. By the way, I wanted to quickly say this. This is Freedom Algo, by the way. Kid Poker. So this is it. This is the school community. And you get access to everything in here. It's $99 a month. The price is going up in 2 days. So on October 8th, it is going to be going up to $127 a month. But anybody who joins before that gets to keep the price of $99 a month. You get to keep that price. You lock it in. So there's 2 days left to get that deal before it goes up. And then it's going to go up to $127, and that will be the new pricing for new members. But you can lock it in. So anybody who's got $99 a month gets to keep that. as long as I remember. So this is it. It also comes with a NinjaTrader toolkit and indicators for how I trade the price action. That's what you can see up here with these multiple ATRs, the take profit target, custom drawing tools, these little signal bar checkers, and there's a leg counter indicator and all that stuff too. So that's what it all is. Basically, it's just my take on how to trade price action. And my rules are a little different. Like, I never go for less than 4 ticks on my scalp. But once the ATR gets higher, I start to go for more. So like earlier when I took this trade right here, I went for 5 ticks instead of 4 on my take profit. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. If you're here, please smash up the likes and definitely subscribe to the channel. And definitely let me know if you have questions in there. Did that answer your questions, Kid Poker? Did that answer that? If you want more info, it's in the chat and in the description and stuff. Did that, you might be new to the channel, so I don't know. But yeah, basically Freedom Algo is the name of the channel. It's the name of that. And it's the idea is that it's kind of like an algorithm for creating freedom in your life. I trade manual price action and stuff, but it's like the idea is that it's like a whole algo for your life. Basically, how to trade with a very specific strategy. And the idea is to only take like 1 to 4 scalp trades per day and then be done. All right. If you got any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Give me 1 second here. I focus on my own account, and I use NinjaTrader for everything. Yeah. Focus on my own setup, my own account, and that's how I do it. I've been trading since 2017. Yep, Sean, I did. I did it while I was going to take a sip of some tea and wait to see if any questions were going to come in. I figure I'll just do them I'm testing out doing them at some random intervals when I'm not going to be saying anything for like a couple of seconds or whatever, or I'm just waiting for people to chat or whatnot. And that way it doesn't interrupt things. Good. All right, so it's working the way that I want it to. That's good. Yeah, it probably will mostly be skippable, I hope. I don't get to control the content of what the ads are that it displays, to be honest, but whatever. It helps support the channel. I mean, it basically pays some basic expenses, you know? So that's the whole point. All right. So, it varies on how many contracts I typically trade. It varies. Usually no more than 20. Usually no more than 20. A lot of times I'm trading with about 10. But it varies, you know? It varies. I like to trade with at least 5 because then I can scalp 4 and leave a runner of 1. But like earlier I took a screenshot and I showed that I had a runner of 2, and that's because I took a 10 contract trade. So I scalped 8 for profit and left 2 as a runner. Yeah, I mean, I would never do that on NQ, by the way. NQ, I would trade less because you have to trade with a much larger stop loss. So it just varies on what you're trading. You know, it depends on what you're trading. But with ES, you know, you're going for, you have a smaller target, so it just depends. I have tried to trade with more than 20, and I don't know. I think like we all have limitations, right? We all have limitations on like maybe one day Maybe one day I can trade with more than that, but there's just something, like, we all have our limitations, and you'll learn that when you trade. Like I remember when one contract used to feel super intense to me, right? Then I remember when 3 contracts felt super intense, and then 5 felt really intense. But, like, even now, like, 10 starts to feel, like, pretty gnarly sometimes. So, yeah. I'm not, so, like, when you're trading with 10, if you're trading with 10 contracts, it's $500 per point is what it is. I'd say 10 is like a more, like, normal amount for me. 10 contracts. But I've done both, right? I've done both. Okay. Yeah, that's what I know. That's the funny thing, Jarvis. That's kind of why I was, like, laughing earlier. I was like, that's a funny name. It's a funny name. There's a lot of different, but the way I was thinking was that it was that, like, the dude plays poker, hopefully. Drain, I would say I'm confident in my skills, but there's always room to improve in the market. There's always room to improve. We're all, as traders, we're all always going to be improving. You just have to understand that. Like, I feel like I get better every day that I trade. That's the way I look at it. Too good. You guys are making me laugh today. The guy likes Texas Hold'em and the 007 movies. That's what we're going with, okay? That's what we're going with here. Gotta get... Jarvis, get your mind out the gutter, fam. But yeah, back to your question, Drain. There's always room to improve. Like, none of us are gonna be... Like, the thing is... I don't think that any of us should really, like... How do I say? Like, I don't even like to call myself an expert, right? Like, I'm a person that is good at price action trading. I just like to say that. And that's it. It's like, we're all going to always be improving. There's always room to become a better chart reader. There's going to be people that are better at reading the chart than me that come along. There's going to be people that I'm better than at reading it. There's going to be times where I'm better than someone else at reading the chart. And then maybe they're better than at it than me some other times. The most important thing is, can you read the chart and be consistently accurate on your entries that you're taking because you've read the chart well? It's basically that. Nice, you play guitar. I play the handpan. We're actually listening to my music right now. I have the quality turned down on the video, but you can see it here. This is me playing music here. I'll turn the quality up for a second. I play the handpan. So this is me playing right here. There you go. It's just under my name, Nick Bannock. But if you ever want to check out the handpan stuff that I put out. So that's what we listen to while I'm doing my streams. Yeah. Nice. I like it. Yeah, guitar is cool. Nice, man. That's cool. Yeah, I actually have... Oh, check this out. So we are breaking below the channel here. So you can kind of see a first entry, second entry long that just failed. So let's wait and see what it does here. We're going to zoom out a bit. So you can kind of see the wider channel that I had drawn. Now, I drew this level as a possibility. It looks like it's going to fail out the bottom here. So we'll see what this does. But that channel is probably going to get a new high. I mean, we never got a new high over here. So I would not be... Like, I think we're going to make a new high here soon. We might even get a triple test right here. This might trap a bunch of traders. It's kind of a trap, actually, forming. Decent little trap. Could probably look at this something like that. But it looks like it's forming a decent little trap. If you're here, please smash up the likes. We're trying to get to 40 likes today. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Here, I'll be right back. I got to check on something. Be back. All right, I'm back. All right, so we got this move going down. That was a nice little failure right there. Not one that you're expecting. I wasn't thinking that we're going to get a failure there, but that's a failure. This is why signal bars are important. Even though that's off the level, you have a little down channel there, and the signal bar wasn't good anyway. So this channel is played out, or not played out. I mean, it's definitely a close outside. So now we got to assume we still probably need a new high. We never really did get a new low on this channel. So that is something to consider. We never quite filled this gap. So we'll see if we try to go lower here. We'll see. All right. Does anybody here? Yes, yeah, kid, that's what I'm using. You see up here? 2000 tick, ES, December contract. That's what I trade. That's the only thing I look at. That's the only chart that I ever have up. Okay, so there is a first entry, second entry. This is creating almost like a third entry. Not that we would take that, but just calling it out. Does anybody have any questions on Freedom Algo, on the membership, what's involved, anything like that? The reason I'm asking is that the price is going up in 2 days, and I know that like there will probably be some people who are considering signing up to get the $99 a month pricing. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer questions about it, what's involved, if there's things that you want to know. There's a video on the About page that explains everything, but there's, you know, I'm happy to answer stuff, talk through it, all that. On Wednesday, we have our live call. So on Wednesday, we have our call every week, and it's a Zoom call after the live stream, and I usually go over everything in depth. So we'll see this week. A lot of times there'll be like almost like a master class on their own, like just like an overall like master class style. I think this week I'm probably going to spend some time making sure that since I launched the Freedom Algo tools and indicator that come with your membership, this stuff up here and all that, since I launched that all last week, I'll probably spend a little bit of time doing Q&A on that, making sure that nobody has questions with it, like different stuff like that. So I'll probably spend a little bit of time going over that on the call, but then I always spend time covering other concepts, whether that's understanding trend lines and more depth there, and second entries, triple tests, ranges, all that sort of stuff. I go over in depth. It's almost like a masterclass each week of different topics. Sometimes they even become part of the course on their own. The cool thing is, it's basically like this now, where in here, there's a weekly call that goes all the way back to November. Every week, pretty much, since November, there's a call that's recorded. And they're like anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half long. So there's a ton of content that you can watch in there outside of the course. The course is very comprehensive as well. Everything is video based. And you can see every one of these sections expands out. And there's all these sections. And each one of these is its own little section with a video. So it's all in there. So anyway, want to make sure I talk about that. Like I said, there's some of the calls I've added to the course because they were that good that I just felt like they needed to be in there. But a lot of them are not in there, so you just go and watch them on your own after you've done the course and everything. There's also, like, you of course get access to the premium Discord where we go over where I post the charts throughout the trading session before we go live and all that. We have a whole discussion going on there. So let's see. All right, we don't actually need this level marked here. Let's see. Nah, man. I think it was Jarvis. I don't think you offended anybody, man. It's all good. It was just a joke. It was a good joke. We're all good. Everyone's good here, I think. But hey, shout out to you for checking in. But I think that was all good. I think that was all good fun. It's all love here on the Freedom Algo channel. It's all good vibes. I guess we got no questions. All right, so no questions on that. No questions, it looks like. What is going on here? Let me see something. All right, cool. Just looking at something on my other screen right quick. Right quick. Okay. 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 Get that out of here. All right, that's interesting. Look at that. So this is a close outside of this down channel. Let's see if this down channel plays out here. It's actually a first entry short there. This is a second entry short below this, but that's a crazy looking one. That's a crazy looking one. I mean, technically there's a second entry short below this giant bar. It's not even giant. It's only 11 ticks, but it's a second entry short if it breaks below this red bar. You can see this as a first entry, second entry short. And it does need a new low. The only challenge here is that, like, it's not a lot of space. It's 2 ticks to a new low. It's like we don't have a new high made. It's just kind of one of those ones where it's like, if you take that, you're definitely playing with fire a little bit. So I'm not going to take that. I'm not playing with fire. Good to have the new people here. Welcome. I appreciate you. It's good to see some new people in the chat. If you're new here, if this is your first time checking out my stream, let me know in the chat. Put a 1 if it's your first time checking me out on YouTube. If this is your if it's your first time checking out my stream, put a 1. Put a 1 in the chat. I think most people here probably have already seen some of my streams before. But just checking in. It's always good to find out if we got new people. Well, now the second entry didn't even trigger because you have an inside bar that didn't break lower, so you might have congestion here. Slow price action, to be honest. It is moving very slow. It's taking these bars a long time to print. If we look at the timestamp, that one's 9:18 and 43 seconds. 9:17. That's not that long. That's like a minute and a half. But this one took almost. That was like 9:13. It's not that slow. That's like 2 minutes in between these two bars right here. So it looks like it's ranging between like about a minute and a half to like 2 minutes to print bars right now, which isn't super slow, but it's relatively slow compared to some of the other things that we've seen in the past. So now what could happen is the second entry didn't trigger. You could form a lower high that forms a second entry. Again, it's a little bit of a dicier type of setup, but it could happen here. All right, let's see. Second entry never triggered. You gotta wonder here. Yeah, see, you don't want to draw some ridiculous looking channel like that. All right. Now, this is a close outside new high, and this is another new high. So that's this little up channel here, this micro channel may have played out. We don't have a new low on this one, but we don't have a new high yet on this up channel. We still need a new high on both those bigger up channels today. We haven't come off the top of the range. Like right now, the path of least resistance, in my opinion, is to come up to these highs first before we try to go lower. That's what it looks like to me. And if we do come up there, I mean, the all-time high is only up here. It's not very far away. So it could come up. We just got to wait, though. Like, this is kind of no man's land right here. It's a little bit of a no trade zone because we kind of need a new low. We never filled the gap below us. But again, we need a new high up here, and we haven't come up to the top of the range yet. So for me, the most likely situation is for us to come up to one of these areas up here first. Hope you're all having an amazing Monday. Welcome to everybody who just hopped in here. I appreciate you all. We're going for 40 likes today. We only got 19, so if you can please smash up that like button. Let's get the video up to 40 likes so we can have our goal. We haven't had a goal today. And then our other goal is to get to 6,033 subscribers. So 5 more subscribers and we'll hit our goal. If we get to one of those, we'll have our little goal celebration, which is always fun. Thanks to whoever just smashed a like. I saw that. Now we're at 20. We're halfway to our goal on likes. That's always good. It just gets more people into the stream, you know? And I was just asking before, if this is your first time checking out one of my streams, let me know in the chat. Just drop a 1 in the chat if this is your first time checking out my stream. Curious if there's any new people here or not. Oh, nice. Thanks for 21 likes. We got 21. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all. Whoever that was, shout out to you. So here we go. We're getting closer to my area that I was talking about. Oh, nice. Good to have you here. Let me see. I'm gonna try to see. How do I say that name? I'll try Bellowari? Let me know how to pronounce that. Sorry about that. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but it's kind of a cool name. I like it. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. I'm an ES trader, so I'm trading the ES, which is the S&P 500, on the 2,000 tick chart. So every one of these candlesticks is 2,000 trades. Good to have you here. Do you trade the ES? Let me know. Let me know. And what is your preferred method of trading? Do you like price action? I'm a price action trader, scalper. Trade the ES. This is some of my custom tools are on the chart. That's what these little numbers are and some of this other stuff that's on here. This countdown is just the number of ticks left in each bar. It counts down from 2,000. That's what that is, in case you're wondering. Yep, exactly. Mac style. That's right. Mac is where I learned originally. Yep. Perfect. So yeah, Mac is where I learned originally. Also Al Brooks. I got the you can see here. Got the Al Brooks books over here. Dude, the ranges one. Look at the ranges one. The ranges one is so fat. Look at the size of this thing. How many pages is this? Let me see. Like 600 pages or something. So yeah, I like yeah. So I learned most of my stuff through Mac over the years, and then I learned some of the stuff from Al, some other sources as well. I learned most of my trading psychology stuff from other books and things. Like I have I forget where it's over here somewhere, but I have like my mental game of trading and some other books. But for the most part, so my style is probably the most similar to Mac's, but it's a little different in that the way that I do my scalps is a little different. Like I go for a little bit of a bigger target sometimes based on the ATR. Like for example, I only took one trade today and it was this red arrow down here. And it was I went for 5 ticks instead of 4 because of how high the ATR was at the time. So it's a little bit of a different style. And that's why I have this thing where it shows the 3 ATRs and then a take profit target number in ticks. So anyway, just a little bit of nuance, a little bit of a difference. And I was just talking about this before. I have my own sort of like community course methodology that I teach, and that's all in the oh, nice. That's great. Hey, you went for 12 ticks. Cool. I wonder, did that one move 12 ticks? You might have just got it. I think you might have just got it there, right? What was this? Ooh, did you take a loss there? Because that didn't move 12 ticks below that bar. Did you take a loss there, or did you enter on like a limit order further back and then get 12 ticks? Because if you entered a limit order, you might have gotten it. But yeah, anyway, all the stuff that I have is in the. Oh, you had a deep limit. Yeah, we actually had someone else in the community who did that. Someone in my paid community did that as well, and they got in with a deep limit order, and they had a nice trade there. I don't really like to enter most of the time with limit orders like that because I like to enter on a stop order because I don't like to miss the trade. Sometimes if you try to do a limit order, you miss the trade, and I don't like that. And yeah, I was just talking about this before. I'm not going to go over it all again, but I will say that everything that I have is in my school community, and it is $99 a month. And I will say, if you join before Wednesday at 10 a.m., so if you join before October 8th at 10 a.m., you lock in the $99 a month pricing. But after that, it goes up for new members. So you can lock in the lower price, and that stays your price as long as you're a member. So just wanted to make sure I announce it just one last time. There he is. Peter, it was you. It was you. I didn't know if you wanted me to say, but it was Peter. I can show actually the. Here, I'll pull it over, because I think Peter took a screenshot of it somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So here's the. This is from the paid community that you have access to. So here's Peter at 726, and he actually got in on this. He got in on that wick with a pretty sweet trade right there. Pretty cool. So that's nice. You gotta love that. So shout out to you, Peter, for having a pretty sweet trade right there. So everyone here, definitely smash up the likes. We're still trying to get to 40 today. We're only at 21. We're still trying to get to 6,033 subscribers. All right, let's see here. Got a little bit of resistance up here, it looks like. Oh, whoops. Let me start that track over. Welcome, everybody. Anybody new that just hopped in, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you all for being here. A little bit of a slower price action day. I already went over the trades. Let me zoom out. I already went over all the setups earlier. I also went over some areas that were interesting, that there wasn't quite a setup, but it was still interesting to talk about. So I went over all that earlier in the stream, and that's what I always do. I always go over all the trade setups early in the stream. Mainly for the people that just want to join just to see how I looked at the market. And then we go from there. But these bars are printing pretty slow right now. Looks like 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, like a little more than 2 minutes between bars on some of these. So very slow. Very slow. Yeah, 2.5 minutes between those. Yeah, so... But it's taking 2 to 3 minutes for these bars to print now. They might start to pick up. We'll see. But we'll see. We'll probably wrap up the stream here soon. Unless something changes on the market, but not looking like it. All right. Let's see. Anybody got any more questions? If you do, drop them in the chat. If you got some questions, drop them in the chat. Hit the like if you haven't done so. I don't know if we're going to quite get to 40. We're pretty far off. We're pretty far off. We need some more people to pop in. All right. Let's see. If anybody's wondering, by the way, right here, I'm going to point to it. Right there. I have a pet snake, and that's what that is behind me. I have a ball python named Alice. She's super cool. And she's definitely asleep right now. But that's what that is next to me. That's what that red light is, and that tank. That's my ball python. I've brought her on stream before. How do I feel about the failed second entry short? See, the reason I don't like it that much is, look at this. This is not really a leg right here that much. You know, like, you basically have... It's kind of a first entry here, but it's really just like... This is almost all like one low, right? So I would almost look at this all like its own low and look at this like a first entry. So I guess if you count this all as one low, then it is a first entry. And maybe you get a second entry short that does fail, but I don't really think so. It's not going to form the right way. I wouldn't be looking to take a long here. For me, mark up this level here and be aware of the possible area that you might come to, right? So you might drop down to this level, make a new low maybe, and then reverse. It's hard to say. It's hard to say for sure. But again, I don't like the fact that we didn't make it up to here yet. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that we didn't come back to the midline. We didn't come back to these areas. It's kind of just dicey in here. This is like a sort of a no trade zone for me at the moment. But let's wait and see. We might get a setup. We might get some sort of like a triple test long opportunity. We might. Because then you could play it like range rules, because it's kind of looking like it might form a range of some sort here. But right now, it's hard to say for sure. It does look like it's made a first entry long, so there is that aspect. You might get a second entry long from the high with some sort of triple test opportunity, but I don't see it yet, so we just got to be patient. I'll hang out for a few and we'll see if it comes up. Oh, wait, sorry, Jarvis. I totally missed your comment. What do I think of the second entry short a few minutes ago, lower high? I don't see a second entry short. Are you talking about right here? This is a bullish bar, so you can't take that. Is that what you mean, this bullish bar? Because, I mean, you could look at this like a first entry, second entry short, I guess. But, again, this is all kind of like one low here. It's like the legs aren't quite matching up. And this is a bullish bar anyway, so you can't short that. Yeah, it's not... You can't take a short on a bullish bar, right? The signal bar needs to qualify. This is a bullish one. You see how it's a... Yeah. But off the red... No, the red bar is not your signal bar. Your signal bar... This is your... This is your signal bar right there. This is not a signal bar. This would be the entry bar of the signal bar, right? Because the second entry triggers below this bar. So if you use this red bar, then it doesn't really make sense, because it's like this is not a signal bar. This would be the second entry has already happened. And now you're just entering on a random entry bar, not a signal bar. You can't, in my opinion, you can't use the second bar for an entry. I don't play that one. Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and by the way, if you want, we can cover, like, on this week's call, we can go over some of that. Like, if you want to come back to this spot, just remember it and remind me. And we'll come back to it and look at it if you need any more clarity or whatnot on the Zoom call. All right. There's a thing, some people do a thing called a second bar entry where, like, let's say there's a second entry long or a second entry short, but the signal bar is not good. They'll use the bar next to it as their signal bar. If you do that, you still have to use the actual signal bar for your stop loss. So, like, let's say you went short below this. Your stop loss still has to go way up here. But I just think it's super risky to do. I don't do it ever. I don't even think that it's reasonable. Some people, some price action traders do that. I don't think it's a smart idea, so I don't mess with it. Nice. It looks like the sun's coming out here. Might be a trail run kind of day. Let me check what the... I'm going to check the forecast real quick around here. See what the vibe is. Wow, it's cold out there right now. I took my dog for a walk this morning. I didn't realize it was less than 40 degrees out there when I took him. I didn't even realize that. That's cold. It's sunny though. It's supposed to be 71 today here. But it was less than 40 this morning. That's crazy. That's over 30 degrees temperature swing. Pretty wild. It even says right now that it still feels like 39 out there. And I took him when it was even colder, before the sun was even really all the way up. Pretty cool. It's going to be a nice day, though. I'm going to go for a trail run later. Sick. Sick. Anybody here like trail running? I know it's off topic, but just market's moving slow, so why not ask? That's a second entry long right there, by the way. New high, first entry, equal low, second entry long. But it's just like, is it ideal? No, definitely not. Definitely not an ideal one, but it is one. It's also kind of like, this is one of those ones you could argue that there's like a wider little something like that, possibly. But I'll leave it how it was for now. Today's probably going to be a double time. I'm going to probably go and do a, after the stream today, I think I'm going to go to the gym for a little bit and lift weights. And then I'm definitely going to do a trail run later once the weather is like super warm. All right. Let's see, everybody. Any more questions? Any more questions? We're still far off from our target. We're trying to get to 40 likes. Please smack the likes. Smack them. Just give them the old smackaroo. And then subscribers, we need 4 more to get to 60-33. We're at 60-29. So our goals today are 40 likes, 6,033 subscribers. Let's get it. I'm in Oregon. I live in Oregon, in the forest, in the mountains. I live in the rainforest. It's the temperate rainforest where I live, up in the mountains. In the boonies, fam. I'm in the boonies. Yeah, exactly, Jarvis. I go out every day, even if it's raining. Every day. How about you, kid? Where are you? What state are you in? If you're in the U.S., that is. If you're not in the U.S., where you at? What country? Actually, that goes to anybody. Anybody that wants to share, where are you watching from? Let me know. Where are you watching from? Curious. Nice. Listen, I like to live in a remote area. Hey, New Jersey. I was just in New Jersey in September for a wedding. My cousin was getting married, so I went to a wedding in New Jersey. Good times. So and it was awesome. I was there first or second week of, I think it was like the first or second week of September, and I stayed by the beach. I actually stayed in I stayed right by the beach, and it was awesome. I was swimming because the water was 75 degrees. I grew up in New Jersey. I actually grew up in New Jersey, but I moved to Oregon a long time ago. I was an adult when I moved here, but it was like I was like, I don't know, 19 years old or something. So what part of Jersey? You don't have to go into super depth, but just curious. I was in the Asbury Park area when I was there this last time. Nice, Jarvis. Yeah, you're up in the peninsula. I remember that. I remember you saying that. That's cool. I got a family member in Michigan, but not quite that far up. But I've actually been up there. I've been to Michigan. I didn't go that far up, but I was up on here, let me look at the geography of Michigan real quick. And I'll tell you where I was when I was there last time. I was, let me pull it up on the screen here. Here, let me pull it up. Where are we at? So when I was in Michigan last time, I was near Lake Michigan. I was like in, which town was it? I forget the name of the town. I was in like one of these towns over here. Let me make sure you can see that. I was in like one of these towns over here. Like, I don't think it was South Haven, but it wasn't that far up. I was like in one of these areas, and I went to the beach. It was pretty cool, actually. I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. UK, Unwise. Which part of the UK are you in? I got a bunch of family from Liverpool. Sean, nice. I actually, I stayed out in Gettysburg area a few years ago when I was traveling in the RV. I was out near Gettysburg. It was a good time. Had a good time out there. Haha. Dude, that's hilarious. You're in Monmouth County. That's where I grew up. That's funny. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Monmouth County. Oh, nice. Kamau's up in Jersey City. Nice. Nice, kid. That's cool. That's cool. You're over in Central Jersey. Not far from Asbury. Nice. Nice. Yep. Yep. That's cool. It's funny how small the world is, huh? Nice. Nice. 30 minutes from Liverpool. I've been to Liverpool. I'm a big Liverpool fan. And I have... I'm a big Liverpool fan. I've been a Liverpool fan my whole life because that is where my mom was born. Yeah, Jersey is definitely crowded. I mean, that's why I got out of there at some point. And Oregon is nice. Everything is really sparsely populated. We have so much space here. It's amazing. We got 25 likes. We only need 15 more to hit our target. Hey, I'll be right back. Be right back. Got to use the facilities. All right, everybody, I am back. What'd I miss? Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, Kamau. Okay, gotcha. You're in Vegas. Nice. I've been to Vegas a few times. Not for any sort of, like... only because I had some friends out there. Not because I, like, am into gambling or any of that stuff. But just because I had some friends out there. And I actually went to a pretty cool Cirque du Soleil show when I was out there. And just, I don't know, there's a lot to offer there. There's some pretty cool stuff going on if you really look for it around Vegas. But it's kind of a wild place, to be honest. It has a wild vibe. When I was cruising around, I was like, man, this place is pretty wild. I mean, I had good times, but... definitely not my main cup of tea. Like, I had a good time there, but I'm not really a city guy these days. I used to like the city because I grew up near New York City. I'd go into the city. I'd go to Rangers games, take the train into Penn Station and go to Madison Square Garden, watch the Rangers play. I used to, like, when I was in high school, me and my buddies would just take the train to New York City and go walk around all day. And I used to like it. I used to be into the city, but as I've gotten older, now I just want to be as far away as possible to be out in nature, you know? So I like to go to the city sometimes for certain things. Like I'll go to like the local city here, which would be like Portland. I'll go to Portland, Oregon if I want to go to like a concert. But for the most part, I just kind of hang out in the woods and do mountain stuff. I go snowboarding, trail running, you know, things like that. There's a part of me that's tempted to go to the lake today and go paddleboarding. It actually might be warm enough. But... Sat Matt. Dude, it's not as bad as they make it seem. I mean, like, but it's definitely not what it used to be. It definitely is not what it used to be, Sat Matt. It used to be... Man, Portland used to be so cool. It used to be such a small little city, bunch of artists, musicians, like everything. Like it was different. It used to be a lot different than what it is now. It's gotten so like, I'm not going to talk about politics and stuff, but it's gotten just so extreme and over the top. And like, there's such a big drug problem. It's just really sad, to be honest. Is it safe? It depends on what you mean by safe. Like, the problem with Portland in my experience, because I still go there. Every single time I go there, I'm worried that someone's going to break one of the windows to my vehicle and steal something. Like, it's just everywhere that you park, there's broken glass on the ground from people getting their windows busted out. Because nobody gets in trouble for anything. That's the problem. Like, somebody will break a window there and steal something, and there's not enough police officers around. Even if there is, they don't prosecute anybody. At least it's very little. And it's just, there's a bunch of people that are just on drugs, like, that will steal stuff from your car. I know almost everyone I know who lives there has had their window broken out, stuff stolen from their car, property damage, and there's no repercussions for it. It's a real big bummer, to be honest. The crime has gotten pretty bad. There's definitely some violence these days. It's way worse than it used to be. Back in like the mid 2000s, Portland was pretty sweet. It was honestly one of my favorite cities in the US. It was super clean. There was no trash anywhere. Like, when you went there, it felt like you were in a different country to some extent. Just a bummer that it's like that now. And it's crazy too, because like, it doesn't seem like that hard of a problem to solve. Like, I've gone to Japan a couple of times, and when you go around Tokyo, it is not like that. Like, even Tokyo, which has a higher population density than almost any city in the world. I don't know if it is the highest, but it's up there, or at least it always has been. There's a ton of people, and you go to Tokyo, and there's no trash anywhere. Like, people are not leaving a mess, and there's not even that many garbage cans. Like, it's actually hard. In Japan, it's hard to find a garbage can to throw stuff out, but there's nobody throwing things on the road anyway. People are just responsible. They take care of it. It's so different. Like, in Japan, people, there's more of a, I think what the main thing is, there's more of a shared value system and culture there that leads to people like kind of having that understanding. But also, the reality is, if you do something wrong there, you're pretty much hosed. Like, I know some people that live in Japan, and they're like, yeah, you don't break the law here. Like, if you do something and they arrest you, they can hold you for I think it's up to 20 days without even a phone call. So nobody wants to break the rules there. Like, no, there's hard line repercussions to breaking the rules. And so society stays pretty orderly. And whether you like that or not, I find it to be refreshing, because you go there. Like, when I was in Tokyo, I went on a bicycle tour. I have a friend who owns a company there that does bike tours around Tokyo, and I did one. And when we were cruising around the city, you just get off your bike and leave it, and nobody. And I'm like, wait a second, we don't have to lock this? And they're like, nah, nobody steals anything here. And I'm like, wait, we're in the middle of the city. Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, nobody steals anything here. Just leave the bikes. It's no big deal. And I'm just like, wow. And then people were telling me they don't lock their cars. Like, just nobody messes with your stuff. Like, people are just, there's a respect there. And it's just crazy how different it is now. Portland, I feel like, used to be a little bit more like that. Not quite that level, but man, nowadays it's rough, man. It's rough. Every time I go there, I'm worried about my car getting broken into. And yeah, exactly. You're saying it. Yeah. There's so much crime. The police don't do anything, except for parking tickets. You're right. And the thing is, I know someone who's married to a Portland police officer, and he told us they're pretty much hamstrung on what they can do. It's pretty lame. Yeah, I also met a guy who worked for the Department of Homeland Security based out of Portland, and he was telling me that he has arrested the same people for super, super intense criminal activity, and the prosecutors don't prosecute them, and the people just get released. And he's arrested the same people that have basically been quote unquote kingpins more than once, and they still always come back out. I'm just like, dude, what are we doing? What are we even doing? I meant to not get into politics, and then I got into it a little bit. I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to go too, I don't want to get into that's not the point of the channel or what we do here, but it is wild to see it, man. And yeah, exactly, there's trash and stuff everywhere. There's tents that have been burned down. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on these days. Yep. Agree. I agree. It's not safe anymore. And that's why I said it depends on what you mean by safe. Like, I'm not worried about, like, getting, like, being a victim of a violent crime there, but I'm always worried about theft and property damage and stuff. I did not hear about that with the charges. That's wild. Jarvis. Yeah, exactly. You know, like, exactly, Jarvis. That's the thing. Like, you know, when you live further away where there's more of a shared value system, it's different. You know, it just is different. Yeah, for sure. For sure. TJ plays for sure. Yeah, and Peter, you were in Japan a few months ago. No cars anywhere in sight. Absolutely nobody crossed that road. That is exactly true. You do not break the rules in Japan, man. I'll tell you what. Like, you do not. I know someone who lives in Dubai, and he said the same thing. He's like, you do not break the rules in Dubai because they give you a fine. He's like, you jaywalk, you get a fine. Like, he's like, you just don't break the rules. But as a result, society is orderly and nobody commits crimes. Like, I met this guy at a wedding. This was last year. He lives in Dubai. And anyway, he's from India originally, but he lives in Dubai. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, there's people that have Lamborghinis and stuff in Dubai, and they just leave their keys in it, like, unlocked. Nobody will mess with it. And, you know, I'm like, man, there's something to be learned from that, right? All right. But yeah, man, Japan, I love Japan. It's one of my favorite places. Absolutely love it. I will say this. One of my favorite things about Japan and just Japanese culture is there's a culture of, like, doing a good job, right? Like, going above and beyond, no matter what the job is. Like, people take great pride in their work there, and it's really, really refreshing to go to a place and talk to somebody, no matter what their job is. It could be a coffee shop. It could be a 7-Eleven. It could be anything. And the employees are they're just, like, stoked to do a good job and, like, to treat you well. And you feel, like, good about your interactions pretty much everywhere you go. It's just amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it the first time I went. I was like, this is just so cool. Like, people were going above and beyond to help me. And I went to central Hokkaido to go snowboarding where nobody speaks English at all. Like, 0 people. The only people I met that spoke English were from Australia on vacation. Like, nobody else spoke English there. Or other, like, people that were snowboarding that were on vacation. But for the most part, nobody really did. And, like, people still went above and beyond to help me. Pulled out the Google Translate. Tried to get me on the right bus where I was going, like, when I was confused about certain things. Like, just some of the best people I've met going through there. So I just feel like there's a lot to learn there. There's a lot to learn from that. All right, anyway, sorry, that was way off topic. But, so, we are kind of in this tight little range. Again, no man's land. Not a whole lot to do in this area. Still waiting for these highs up here. Definitely still waiting for some lows. And so at this point, you kind of just have to sitting sideways. Not much you can do with it. So maybe I'll wrap up the stream here. It's always fun having those conversations, but anyway, if you got any final questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat now. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. It's always a good time. And if you're in my community and you haven't done so already, remember, you can get access. There's a post down here about the Freedom Algo tools. I also put some information in it in this here. So feel free to hop in there and get some info. I can get you added to the new indicators and tools. It's all included with your in school. So like if you want it, just go in there and the instructions are all there. There's a course, section 2.4. that goes over the entire installation instructions and what you need to do, and then you just have to send me the email that you use, and I'll activate your license, and then you can use it. So anybody that's in there, go ahead and do that. Thanks everybody for coming through today. I appreciate you all. I'm going to stop here, but I hope you all have a good rest of the day. I appreciate everybody, and I will see you all soon. Take care, everybody. You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care, everybody.